Welcome to the podcast From Stress to Success Blueprint with your host, Lolita. And today is episode 44. And I want to talk about stress, obviously, and how we actually make that stress. We just make it up many times. That's how it happens. For example, and I want to talk today specifically about expecting the worst. I just caught myself actually just doing recently. Um, I was planning on doing something, and I immediately thought to myself, "Oh well, probably it's not going to happen that way." Well, why would they think that way, right? Especially when you prepare yourself, if you have your goals, you have your to-do list for the day, and you're looking at things that you're expecting to happen. Does this happen to you too? Like you're thinking, oh no, that's not gonna happen. And like, of course they're gonna be late, and of course I'm not gonna get that package in the mail, and of course my friend is gonna cancel the last moment. Think about it. Do you stress yourself the same? Because let's say you planning to go on a trip, and your tendency is to expect the worst. So you will stress yourself out until you actually get to that day that you have to travel, and then you will stress even more because now you pumped yourself up so much that you just have to pick something from your environment that will make you stressed. And really, you did it to yourself. Or let's say in the workplace, you thinking, oh, I think that person is not going to deliver. Uh, tomorrow's the deadline, but they're probably not going to deliver. And if there is no evidence that's going to happen, obviously we should not pay attention. And we should not just cast this future net of doubt and think, well, probably not going to happen, but maybe will. But no. And I notice it's not even a maybe thing for me. It's for me like 100% is not going to happen. 100% somebody's not going to show up. 100% I'm going to be late. 100% something. And when I started on my healing journey, I realized that a lot of those patterns that I was thinking, it was really caused by, what environment I grew up in. And, obviously it's not some sort of a secret that I'm keeping away from everyone. My dad was alcoholic, so every single day you don't know what's going to happen. And things will not really turn for better. They usually will be just as is or go bad. But when you grow up in that environment, you always worried about your survival. So I would always kind of pay attention to things and expect the worst because that's just survival. When you're expecting the worst, then you prepare for it. And that is one of the tools that I'm actually teach. Like if you worry about something, imagine the worst and make a plan. That's it. That's the way you take care of that worry and that stress. But how is it you take care of your stress when you start thinking about, and it's not like really worrying about that. I'm talking about this when you kind of like on the back of your head, like, somebody says, okay, I see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock for coffee. And you kind of just that blink of a second, that will not change your life, that you're going to see them or not. But you kind of have this little, like this thought, like, they're probably going to cancel the last moment. Basically what you did, you stress yourself for the coming something. You stress yourself for imaginary consequences, what that will bring. And also you robbed yourself of joy, really robbed yourself of joy. Because if let's say you're going on vacation and you think, oh, I know my kids are going to be bad. Oh, I know that flight is going to be late. Oh, I know it's going to be so hot. Oh, I know how I know they're not going to come. I know this is going to, you're robbing yourself of joy and stressing yourself because now you're going to pay attention and see who's going to show up on time, who's going to be cranky, who's going to be, what flight's going to be late, and all of this. And those are patterns. And you have to stop them, obviously. So, number one, what did you do? You pay attention when they happened. And then you have to kind of have a conversation with yourself. And the brain loves evidence. So, if let's say it's a person and you say, I know they're going to cancel, then ask yourself, just kind of have a conversation with yourself. Why do you think that way? Was this happened before? You think that they will be late again because of what kind of reason? And you probably will notice that you will come up with answers of like, well, no, they're not always late. There are plenty times they showed up on time. But if you still kind of have this thought of, well, they're not gonna show up. Oh yes, the flight's gonna be late, and it comes into this worry state when you actually start stressing about it. That is when you use that tool that I just mentioned before. Then you make a plan what's the worst thing that can happen. And then you're gonna mitigate it that way. But until then, stop robbing yourself of joy. And you probably saw this in your environment you were growing up, that everything was a big deal and we have to be unhappy already. And even if there's a happy thing going on, somebody's going to be unhappy, and hence your well-being also is in jeopardy. So you're like, I'm just going to expect the worst. I'm going to expect the second shoe to drop. I'm going to expect this in order to help myself to survive in this situation. So that's your thing. That's your that's your thing. That's your exercise right now. I would really love to hear. Um, do you know already about the situation in your life that you have this tendency of thinking that the worst thing will happen? And I would like to hear it in your comments. And if you would like one-on-one consultation or look up my online classes or any information how to reach me and speak for your team, please go to my website, beamazingyou.com. And my books, Crush Stress While You Work, which is actually I'm working on the second edition, and on workbook, and a lot of amazing things coming up. And my book, Stress Management for Adult Children of Alcoholics, is also available on Amazon. So if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you like the video, please share, thumbs up, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later.